So just a couple announcements. We do have in July, we have 3 clearings that month because it's 3 Wednesdays in the month. So we're going to be working with negativity. I don't remember what the names are.
Never.
Yeah. Well, you know how the mind sometimes, not everybody, but I would say most people experience that spin where something happens and you can't let go of it and you keep spinning it and all these negative thoughts keep churning. Yeah. So that July is going to be devoted to negativity, and there's as you know, each one is a little bit different, has a little twist to it, and we'll have more information on that as we get closer. The membership thing is, we're getting really close to being ready for membership, aren't we? Are we?
So close.
So close.
So close.
Okay. All right. The membership's going to be really, really cool, I think, because you guys, check this out. So you know how you come and you pay to come here? Mm-hmm. So remember that you get the clearing itself. You get it here. That's it. Well, you get that clearing for a full month. So you know what I'm saying? So that's the first level. So the first level is membership for like $25, and you get the clearing repeatedly, and then a recording. Yeah. So you get to listen to it over and over. And just as a reminder, Kathy, come on in. Or not a reminder, but something you probably don't know is that people that are listening to this repeatedly are having really, really big shifts and changes. So there's something really cool about listening to it over and over. So almost like group clearings are really cool. Individual clearing goes really deep, but if you can do the group clearing and listen to it again and again, it will be like having a private session, which is kind of cool. So you get more and more deeper layers start to happen. So lots of cool things for the membership, which I think is going to be really awesome. I mean, I know that coming one time and clearing, things do happen, but I know that if you can keep going, it just keeps taking more and more layers, which is really cool. So lots of different ways in which to, support people in their lives and clearing out the debris. Oh, and then we're also going to have once a month we will have like a little small, short intensive, just a couple hour intensive with topic specific, which will be really cool. So that's another way to keep things going, get things moving, lots of energy, shifting and changing, but as well as getting lots of information. So just cool things are happening. Yeah. We good? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, feel free to move your chairs around so you can have good visibility, whatever. All right. Okay, so this is the second segment for clearing out energy from the Father, and this particular segment has to do with things that come through, like the ancestral stuff, the bloodline stuff, okay? And that includes things like, oh yes, okay. So I think I've shared this before, but for people who haven't heard it, whatever a person has lived, okay, that energy stays in their soul imprint. It stays in the frequency. You have children, and you pass that frequency on to them. So it doesn't matter if father, mother, the energy of the father, it still gets passed through. It gets passed through the genes, the DNA, but it also gets passed through on an energy level. So it doesn't matter whether the father impregnates the mom and never sees her again, there is still a download of energy that gets seeded into the energy of the infant that's forming in the womb. And that doesn't just leave the body, okay? So all the energies that have happened, if we track back, like you've got your father, you've got your father's father, and so on, and we keep going back through time, we've had all kinds of atrocities happen on the planet. We've had all kinds of different experiences, like in these last few hundred years, no big deal, but if we keep going further and further back, and we go back to the times when the Crusades were happening, or that dark period where they were, killing and hanging witches and accusing people. What was that called? I forget.
Inquisition.
Inquisition, yeah. Okay, so the Inquisitions, we had that time period. If you keep going further and further back, we know too that even a couple thousand years ago, when the Messiah Jesus was on the planet, there was all the things that were happening then. Well, it keeps going further and further and further. I mean, we know that humanity's been on the planet a really long time. They have evidence now. They can prove that they have found bones that are well over 300 million years old. And what do you call it? Those like instruments, things that they used. What was it?
Carbon dating?
Yes. Well, no, they have the, like they found like metals that they are tools, that's what it is, tools that they used, and those are carbon dated for like 400 million years ago. So it just keeps going, and you know what I mean? It just keeps going. So, one of the biggest things has been survival. Survival's been really big. We didn't have grocery stores, 50,000 years ago. So a lot of starvation, a lot of hunger, even the tribes, clans people, hunger was very common. So people died of hunger. It was quite common, quite frequent. They'd have wonderful times of plenty, but then there'd be those lean times as well. So those feelings, that survival, we kind of get hit in survival, especially if we start having concern or worry about finances. Sometimes, in our lives right now, maybe not everyone has experienced going without, like being hungry or not having a place to live, or things like that, but that's still happening to this day. But what gets kicked up is deep, deep, deep survival, even at the thought of maybe losing your job, not being able to pay your way, okay? Not being able to provide food. So it isn't just the energy of this lifetime that you're experiencing that kind of feeling, that intensity. Yes, it goes into past lives, but it also comes down through the energy of your ancestors. So since we're doing with the father thing, another component that has to do with the male species more so than the female is the energy of war, fighting, that kind of stuff. So that energy also gets lodged in the DNA, but it also gets lodged in the frequency, the trauma. And remember too, that feeling when your body gets really shocked, something big happens, like sometimes car accidents, sometimes like the death of somebody, something that causes your body to feel that really zingy charge where you just feel your energy just get really, really whacked. That frequency, partly what happens is the person that this is happening to does leave the body. Okay, so there's a loss of self, but that frequency, it kind of, if you're not able to just totally release the energy of it, the intensity, like if you see nature out in the jungle or out in the wild, when something's attacked by, let's just say, like a leopard or a tiger or something, the herd is all like they're all freaked out, and then when it's over, you watch their bodies, they're shaking energy off. You'll see it. And then it's over, and then they just go about their lives. So we don't have that. So our bodies don't just naturally shake things off. So some of the survival things, a lot of it's coming from the father component, the father's side, your dad's side, and sometimes too, like, you might hear about someone's life, and it's like, why are they so whacked? Why are they so angry, or why are they so depressed, or why are they so withdrawn, or whatever that is? And it's like, yeah, there was things that happened in their childhood, but nothing really warrants the degree in which they are dysfunctional, the degree in which there's like a major wounding or pain or suffering, or withdrawing, or just the harm that they cause to others. So here's another piece too. If we track back, I want you just to hold this for a moment. You don't need to know who they are. All you're going to do is just kind of hold the intention, the awareness that you're going to go back. Let's go back 10 grandfathers. Is that generations? 10 generations? Okay, let's go back 10 generations. Okay? And let's look at the, or not, just don't even think, you guys, don't think. This is not a mind thing. Okay? But you're just going to hold the intention that you're pulling forth the energy of 10 generations back of the father's side. Okay? What's really cool is you don't have to know anything, but you can call that forward and you're going to actually get information. You're going to get senses. You're going to have a feel of that being, of who they were. So 10 generations back, you have no clue unless you've done a family tree who that even was. Okay? And we can track it back, we can feel that energy. So if we call forth that energy from 10 generations ago, just to see that, okay, so 10 generations would be several hundred years, right? Yeah, because people didn't always live real long. Yeah, so we can get a sense of there's trauma, there's stress, there's anxiety, there's all kinds of different things that are stuck and held in that frequency of your ancestor. So that energy from that person gets passed down to their son and daughters and their children, and it continues and it continues. Okay? So what we want to do today, as much as we can, is to start to clear out the frequencies that you have in your bodies that are carryover. They have nothing to do with you. You didn't have these experiences. But your body is still acting as though you did have these experiences. So what we want to do is start clearing this stuff out so that you're not haunted by some energy that came from, you know, several generations back. Now again, so we go back 10 generations, let's go back 100. Don't think about it with your mind, don't even go there. Go back 100 generations, and you're going to start to sense and feel, feels very different, like very different, okay? So the frequency that got carried forward in that is also going to be in your energy field. This is how energy gets passed on. If your energy is, if the energy of your parents, if they don't release that frequency or that trauma or that horror or that shame or that fear or anxiety, you're going to pick up on it. You're going to drink it in like poison. You can't not. So in the unraveling, in order for you to not pass stuff on, like let's say you're here in this world and maybe you don't, let's pretend like you don't have kids yet, okay? So you want to not have to pass this on, well that would mean clear out all the stuff so you don't pass that on to your children. And then also to not recreate more stuff in your energy field, it's like to release the energy means to know it with presence and consciousness. Any traumas or shocks or fears or phobias or anxieties, depressions, things of that nature. Depression is because you're depressing energy, emotional energy that hasn't been released. So in the unraveling, it does mean let the energy move through your body. Okay. I think everyone has a time where they don't want to look at things, they'd rather just push it down, forget about it, hide it, pretend it doesn't happen, pretend it doesn't exist, ignore it, and just keep pushing it down. Well, all that does is it perpetuates more of the same. And remember too, whatever you hold inside, of course you draw that to you. So we're going to start removing stuff that has been passed down. This isn't through the past life, this is through your ancestors, okay? So we are going to be holding different stages, different time periods of your family, of your dads, you know, the father's side. And another piece too, to get the most from the experience. So this is a little different than our typical clearings because we are doing, it's specific, but it's a little bit more specific than when we're just kind of like doing a topic where let's just say we're going to work with shame or depression or something like that. We're dealing with your ancestors' energy. So we're going to be holding a different way of doing that, but at the same time, for you, when you think about, like we went back 10 and we went back 100, did you notice when you thought about even 10 generations ago, when you thought about or pulled in that energy and felt that energy, how did that make you feel? Did anyone notice how that made you feel? Okay, now if we jump back 100, let's see how that feels. Because back 100 generations ago, much more survival stuff was happening. So just notice what it feels like in your body. Okay, let's play with that just a little bit. So let's go back to 10 generations, okay? We're just going to call in the grandfather, the great-great-great-great-grandfather of that. Now, pay attention to what happens in your body. Notice how you feel. Notice the energy of emotional energy, whatever that is. I don't care what it is, just notice that. Okay? Okay, now let's jump back. We're going to jump really far. Okay, now let's go back, call it in 100 generations ago. And then notice, okay, just notice that now. Be in your body, have the awareness, noticing how that makes you feel. Now, can you feel and sense a difference between the 10 generations and the 100? Okay? But you're feeling it in your body, aren't you? Okay, so even though you might have like images or pictures or knowing, you're still feeling something in your body. That's my point. What you're feeling is coming from way back then. Different than what you felt 10 generations ago. Okay? Since human beings have been on a planet a really, really, really long time, and most of the time has truly been a survival, seriously, a lot of death, a lot of survival. So you're going to have a lot of that kind of energy in your energy field. It can actually affect things like relocating, moving to other locations. It can feel really uncomfortable. It can feel really scary, lost, okay? So way back, like as I'm tracking, so I'm looking at some of your family, just your family. It's like they're like nomads, and there's a lot of like unknown. So of course for you, now you're going to relocate, so that's all getting activated. Isn't that cool?
Over and over.
Yeah. Okay. And different things for different people, but my point is you're going to feel a different energy. Like if we go, so now we've gone back 100 generations. Okay, check, so just let it all go for a moment. Now this may seem a little out there, but let's go back 1,000. Just call it in. 1,000 generations ago. Wow, notice there's a density in consciousness. Can you feel that?
I hit a wall.
So it's really different when we go back even further. It looks like it gets really dark, really unconscious, more survival kind of energy. But somehow, obviously, they lived to the point to where they could at least have offspring. Otherwise, you wouldn't have that in your bloodline. Okay? But just notice and feel the density of that. You can really feel there's like really dense energy. And it gets a little darker, so it's not quite as awake, so to speak, awareness. It's a lot of survival, okay? So for you, as we do these leaps, we're going to do leaps into the energy fields. Each time we do a leap, it's not really about trying to check out what they did or who they were. I mean, you can do that on your own whenever you want. It's really about feeling the impact that you experience within your own self. Okay? So when we go back, like we go back 1,000 generations, and you can feel the density, if you just stay right there inside of your own physical body, notice how that makes you feel. So let's play with these three location things, because I want you to really get what I want from you in order to really clear energy, okay? When you stay present with something, when you stay present with an energy, you're actually lighting things up. If you try not to be with it, or you try to ignore it or make it go away, you're diffusing the energy, and it makes it more difficult for me to find it, track it, and release it. Okay? So let's do this. So let's go back now. Let's go back to the 10 generations. Light that up. See how that feels in your body. Notice what that feels like. Now, besides noticing what it feels like, pay attention to how it makes you feel. What's your reaction to it? What's your feeling to that? What happens in your body when you go back those 10? Just notice, just notice. Don't try to stop it, change it, shift it, just allowing, welcoming. Okay, so as you stay with that, drop in a little bit more. Drop down a little bit more into that sensation, that feeling, and let it be there. Okay, now just without making it go away, just be with how that makes you feel. Okay? Okay, now just forget about that one. Let's go back the 100-year one. Let's go back 100 years. Okay, now once again, you're calling that forward. You're calling the energy of that father, and you're paying attention to how your body feels, what happens in your physical body. Pay attention to sensations, pay attention to energy moving around, pay attention to how there might be emotional energy, and notice what that emotional energy is. What does that emotional energy feel like? Depending on what happened for someone's, okay, yeah. So the energy of whatever they've lived is residing in you, okay? Just notice that. Now once again, how does it make you feel? When you feel the vibration and you feel the frequency, how does that feel inside? Does it make you feel sad, happy, joyful, loving, excited, passionate, frightened, shamed, fearful, anxious? Just notice what happens. And then just let that be there. Don't try to make it go away. Okay, now let's jump back. Let's go back 1,000 times back. 1,000 generations. Sometimes you might get images, pictures, sensations, knowing, thoughts, sounds, words, impressions. Just allowing, once again, you're just going to be with how that makes you feel. Okay, so it might light up even more of a deeper sense of survival, or not, just depends on what your ancestors were living. Okay, so you're just feeling into that, allowing, just allowing, not trying to make anything go away. Okay, notice where it lands in your physical body. A lot of the emotional energy will be in the second chakra, and then survival will be in the first chakra. Life, death, survival is in the first chakra. Emotional energy, a lot of the emotional stuff is in the second. Okay? So once again, when you feel into that, forget about any visions or sights or senses, but come into your own body and identify what you're feeling. What's it feeling like inside of you? Notice that. Okay? And then let's just let it all go. And then let's come right here to this moment, right here in the room. And again, we're going to be doing a couple things. I'm going to have you call my presence in to be standing right beside you. Okay? You're also, we're going to be calling in your actual dad. We're going to call his presence in to the room to be right in front of you, beside you, wherever he's going to be. Okay? Also, remember too that you can invite other people into the room if you'd like. Some of you have parents, some of you have husbands, wives, friends, whatever, children. Just, you can invite them into the room. So why don't you do that now? If there's people you want to be in the room, call them in. Let me feel them, let me see them. Good, good, good. All right, good. Getting a room full of people. Nice, nice, nice. So the same thing's going to happen for them as it's happening for you, in a sense. I mean, it won't be exactly the same, but it'll be very similar. We're going to call in whoever their father is, we're going to call in the presence of their father as well. So whoever you've called into the room, we're calling in their father. So like say you've got your kids, or maybe it's a friend, or even, you know, a partner, we're going to call in those fathers, okay?